Hey everyone, Tony D with another screenwriting tip for you. This is going to be kind of a sensitive screenwriting tips thing. It's something we have to talk about. We have to talk about clients with the stars in their eyes. And what I mean about that is clients with very unrealistic expectations. I think I did a video similar to this before, but I just recently got off the phone with a potential client and it didn't go anywhere. And this is by no means a slam against him or anyone who has these positive and perhaps unrealistic expectations of their project. But it's something you may almost definitely will come across if you're a screenwriter or a freelancer when you're dealing with clients. And it's the idea that, especially in the world of movies, that someone who wants a screenplay written thinks they're going to be a millionaire overnight. They think they're going to be famous. They think it's just going to be the biggest hit ever. They've, in this case, the potential client heard something that led him to believe that it is a billion-dollar idea, and it may very well be. I'm not knocking the idea. The idea was perfectly good. Sometimes billion ideas happen out of the blue, and sometimes the Hollywood gods reach down and lift you up, and you become rich and famous. It can happen, but it's extremely rare. It can also happen that you could be hit by a meteor or a bolt of lightning or eaten by a tiger. It could happen that you're hit by lightning and eaten by a tiger at the same time, but it's unlikely. Okay, it's incredibly unlikely that a movie gets made. It's incredibly unlikely that it becomes a hit. It's incredibly unlikely that you will be showered with the money as a result of that. And that's just, over the years, I've had many clients, and sometimes they have these, very unrealistic expectations, and I've tried to bring them down. And I think when you can't bring your clients' expectations to a reasonable level, you shouldn't be taking them on as a client, because that can only end in sadness and despair, and frustration for you, frustration for the client. A lot of times they want you to work for free because, well, the idea is so good and it's a $1 billion idea. You're going to get a huge part of it. The thing is, if that's the case, well, why not take out a loan on your house and give me $10,000 so I could write your screenplay? I mean, you're going to get it all back. It's a $1 billion idea, right? Yeah, they're not going to put themselves out that way. And when you present it that way, they suddenly go, well, I don't know why you don't want to invest like me. I got to do all the work, and yet, you're investing. So clients who don't want to pay you are practically worthless, and they're probably just going to be a big pain in your butt because they have such unrealistic expectations of the money. They probably have unrealistic expectation of how a script works, how a movie works, what could be in the movie, what can't be in the movie. I could tell by talking to this potential client that he didn't seem to have a firm grasp on what should be in a screenplay. Now, that may not be true. Maybe he's a genius. I don't know. I'm not knocking the guy. I want to stress that. But I think I know something of the movies a little bit because I've done some stuff. I'm not a rich guy. I'm not super famous, but I know a few things, especially about screenplays. So, you can't start with the premise, well, this is going to make us $1 billion, so write the screenplay. Again, if that's the case, give me the money first. You're getting $1 billion. What's $50K to me? But a lot of times these clients don't have that kind of money. They're just wishing that, again, the Hollywood gods will shine upon them and they're going to make a lot of money. It may be that they've contacted very famous people in their production companies, and that their production companies were very nice to them on the phone and said very encouraging and wonderful things. You may be hearing the truth verbatim, or you may be hearing a version of the truth that's kind of what they said. Maybe not what they meant. Your potential client may be saying the things that he wanted to hear. You don't know. What you do know is if you're going to work for free, you better not work for free. I mean, you can't. You got to work for something. Now, if you're, when I was a young screenwriter and I basically worked for free, at least I was getting some credits out of it, and I desperately needed some credits to get the work that actually paid me money. But I'm not that screenwriter anymore, and I don't recommend most of you to be that screenwriter because working for free sucks. If your client can't at least give you a little bit of money, then they're not very serious, in my view, about the project. If you've got a client who's going on and on about the billions his project's going to make and he won't even pay you for a little bit of your time, then I think what you have is, a person who just has unrealistic expectations. And you have to know when to cut them off and say, well, I wish you luck with your project, and that's it. And you just let them go, because those kinds of clients, in my experience, can be a tremendous waste of time. They tend to be very demanding. They tend to be not very knowledgeable of how screenplays and movies work. And so they want things that you're not going to want to give them, and they're not going to listen to your advice. That's another key thing when you're talking to a potential client. If they're not listening to you, if they're just talking and talking endlessly, that's a sure sign that how your dynamic is going to pan out when you sit down to write this thing. It's basically going to be write down every word they say, because that's all they want to see in the screenplay. And I've had clients like that. They just want to be told their ideas are amazing. They want me to be just as excited as they are about their screenplay project, and they don't want me to ask for money because that's so, you're gonna be rich. Why do I need to pay you now? It's a shame. Now, if you're hiring a screenwriter and you're one of these potential clients, you have to lower your expectations. You have to pay people money for their time. Expect to pay a few $1,000s at minimum for a screenplay. You really should be paying much more if they're any kind of professional. If you're going to audition a screenwriter, ask them for samples. They'll have something to send you. So, if they can point to their credits, certainly, if they have some. If they don't have any credits and they don't even have a sample, then they're not serious. This is what you want to learn. And you need to learn the minimum about the movie business and screenplays in order to hire a screenwriter. This potential client didn't know what Netflix was. He doesn't have a computer. That is unfortunate, because Netflix is a huge player in the movie industry right now. So is Hulu and Amazon Prime and all these pay channels. The movie industry is changing. People aren't going to theaters. The movie studios are getting their clocks cleaned, and it is a direct result of stay-at-home movie watching. And if this trend continues, your theaters are going to be, well, they're not going to be gone, but they're going to take a back seat. They're going to be a novelty. It'll be something you'll go out to do. Maybe go to a brew and view. You sit down, you have a nice dinner, and watch a classic movie. Something like that. It's not going to be what it was, which is that's where you see movies. You can see movies on the internet. You can see them at home on your TV, on demand, HBO, all these channels, on your iPad, on your phone. People watch movies on their phone. I was just telling some older people about that and saying, hey, they watch movies on their phone. And they go, what? On a tiny little screen? Personally, I wouldn't watch a movie on a little phone, but a lot of people do. One of my nephews watched the entire run of The Office basically on his phone. So the movie industry is changing, and you need to know something about it if you want to get into it. And if your client just has stars in his eyes and thinks, well, you write the screenplay and then we'll be rich tomorrow, you may just want to politely say, well, good luck with your project. I hope that really works out for you. Maybe I'm wrong, and maybe you're a genius, and sort of just go your separate ways, unless you've got a lot of free time and you're just starting out and you need to write a screenplay just to figure out how to do it. I wouldn't recommend it. I wouldn't recommend these clients. And if you're one of these clients, I think you need to get your head out of the clouds and think seriously about doing this. Or at the very least, I think you need to take 2 or 3 grand out of the bank and pay a screenwriter at minimum 2 to 3 grand to write your screenplay, and let them do it, and invest some real time and money in this, and keep your expectations relatively low, because it's very tough to make a movie. Even if someone over the phone said, hey, yeah, we're going to, I've had plenty of people say over the phone, yeah, we'll take a look at your screenplay. As soon as it's done, send it to us. Send it to them, never hear back from them again. Call them up, no, we don't want to look at the screenplay now. We're doing something just like it. Or, no, so-and-so doesn't work here anymore. Or yeah, we read it and we're going to pass on it for now. Those are all responses you could get. And, you got to be prepared for that. So no slam against clients with stars in your eyes. God bless you. You still think movies are magic. And I don't mean to stomp all over your whimsy, but if you're going to hire a screenwriter, you need to pay. And everybody needs to understand that this is show business, not show charity. And that's the way it works. So anyhow, that's a screenwriting tip for today. My name is Tony D. Please check out my wonderful books, Wokistan, a Novel, and The Pineys. Links in the descriptions, $3.99 or $2.99 depending on the book, and free for Kindle Unlimited users. Make sure you get a BitChute account in case YouTube deletes me, which is kind of inevitable for all your favorite YouTubers out there. So get yourself a BitChute account today. We'll see you next time.